Hey, I'm back. So, I've been studying a lot about creationism and evolution and just the whole, I mean, because, yes, I did see a lot of stuff that like the son of the father showed me, but I'm an analytical guy. So, this is actually the first time I've put numbers to some of this stuff. And I've actually, researched a little bit about, like the sun and mass of the sun, diameter of the sun, and then the distance from sun to Earth, and gosh, what else I've written here? Different elements on the Earth too, and how they would form, and what would happen if you introduced like temperatures of upwards of like 10,000 degrees. To prove or disprove a theory of something. Because I mean. I know, I'm the same kind of guy that likes to, put realistic evidence and information there. But maybe that's probably another reason why Dad wanted me to see a lot of that stuff, is so that I could, be that bridging factor, so people who are skeptics or don't know the truth can look at the evidence and be like, okay, so that's yeah. So I'm going to go over just three topics, or three pieces of evidence, to prove or disprove, however you want to see it. I'll just show you the evidence, and then from there you can take it and say, oh, well, I believe this, being creation side, or oh, I believe this, the evolution side. I don't really care. All I care about is giving you the truth and the facts, and so that you have the information that you need, so you can make a just argument. And whether you want to believe a fool's journey or you want to believe the truth is up to you. I won't judge you by that. You just do whatever you want to do. So. First piece of evidence. The sun's diameter. Yeah. So, as you know, or you probably don't know, because, I didn't know, so I looked it up. The sun's current diameter at this moment is 864,337.3 miles or so, give or take, years. So that's a very measurable thing right now. As it is right now, it is 864,337.3 miles right now. And evolutionists say that the Earth is 4.6 billion years old. So that gives us a specific number that they gave us, saying 4.6 billion. So they can't lie and say, oh, we didn't believe. No. You have it in your books. You have it in your books right now. So I'm going to use that real logic. Okay. Now, we know scientists, astronomers specifically, who have looked at the sun and kept track of, it's burning off mass. Like the mass inside of the sun is burning off, so it is losing mass at this moment. In fact, I believe it's losing about 5 feet of diameter, which sounds like it sounds like a lot, but really it isn't. But at the same time, it is. It's losing 5 feet in diameter every year. Every year it's losing just about, average about 5 feet. 4.5, 6, 5.5, doesn't matter. 5-ish feet a year. So I'm just going to say 5, just flat, to keep it simple. So if we use that calculation, now I've actually written notes here that has like all I guess I could just probably leave it here so you can have it. So, it's a little hard to do backwards here, but so let's just say 5 feet times 4.6 billion years. That's about losing. You want to be accurate. 5 feet that it's losing times 4.6 billion. You get about 2.3 to the power of 10 to 13. Sorry, it's hard to see. 13, which equals to about 23 trillion feet. Now, if you do the conversion rate from feet to mile to feet, 1 mile is 528. I'm sorry, 5,280. What am I saying? 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. So if you do that conversion, that equates to the distance being just about 4.356 billion miles. 4.3 billion miles. I want you to just, digest this further. Before I go any further, just digest that. Just digest that number and understand that means that it has been if we're using real information that they gave us, that means that the mass of the sun was 4.356 billion miles in diameter. Just think about that. Okay, you got enough time. So it's hard to do that. I'm not going to keep it in the screen. So we know that the sun's mass right at this moment is about 864,337.3 miles, right? Well, how far is the distance between the Earth? I'm sorry, the Earth and the Sun. Like, what's the difference? The distance between. I have no excuse for that. I'm not tired, so I'm sorry. But what is the distance between the Earth, the Sun, and the Earth? Well, the actual distance, and let me see here. Here it is. The actual distance from the Earth to the Sun right now is 92.96 million miles. It really just equates to 92,960,000 miles away from the Earth to the Sun. Now, I want you to understand that. I want you to just like start thinking about numbers here. Now, start putting two and two together. Okay. If indeed the Earth and the Sun and everything has been around for billions of years, just for not even the full 20 billion years, just 4.6 billion years, that would mean that at that point in the beginning of when the Sun and the Earth and everything was here, the Sun would have a diameter of 4.356 billion with a B miles, and the Earth, well, I mean, at that point, I mean, you got to understand that means distance from the Sun to the Earth right now means that back then the Earth would be inside of the Sun. It'd be far inside of the Sun if that were true. If that were true, the Sun, I mean, forget the distance from the Sun to the Earth. It'd be inside of the freaking, and so that makes no sense because if it's incinerated, I mean, there's no way for a solid to any material to come. You get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm trying to get at? That's just one thing. Let's move on to the next. So you understand now. You have the information. Take it how you will. Granite. I'm going to go on some specific here. Granite. Granite is a solid crystalline rock that is found on Earth. We obviously know that because we use it every single day for granite tops, for building supplies, for construction, etc., etc., all that stuff. So how we measure not measure. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So granite when. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought here. I'm trying to do so many things all at once, so just forgive me for jumping subjects and stuff. Let's start with radiopolonium halos. So before we get into granite, radium polonium halos. Now, radium polonium halos, aka tiny rings, as they say, in the scientific community, are rings that are found after a half-life of polonium is exhausted. Once polonium itself is exhausted, that's it. Poof. It's like a firework. It's done. It's like, then it has a freestanding halo that shows that that element was there at one point in time, and now it is no more. It is no longer, and the electrons and everything around it are suspended in air. The way it's done is the Jello effect, or I forgot what you call that. It's not the Jello effect. I forgot the name of that effect, but it essentially means that when in order to have an imprint or to have I hate using this term, but a fossilized element of whatever you want to say, like an imprint of that element to show that it was there and it was present at one point and now it is no more. Traces of evidence that it was there. That's what the polonium halos are, the radiopolonium halos. So radiopolonium has, polonium has a half-life. There's actually two different poloniums. There's polonium with 2.214 and polonium 218. Polonium 214 has a half-life of about 164,000th of a second. That's very, very short. It's like it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. That's how short the half-life is. I mean, even more instant than that. Polonium 218 has a half-life of about 3 minutes, so it's not going to be. I'm not going to wait for 3 minutes. That's stupid. But just assume from 3 minutes. Okay, cool. So that's that. Yeah, that's a very big difference. 3 minutes to 164ths of a second. I'm not going to do no math here, but just average. It's going to be like maybe an eighth. No, that's stupid. That makes no difference. The point is, half-life is very, very short, and so the evidence of these rings being present is it can't be sustained for a while. So now that you have that information, we're going to jump ship to granite. So scientists have done experiments with granite, and they heated it up and melted it down. Not melted because you can't really, but I mean you can, but for all purposes they just heated it up to a very hot temperature, and then they cooled it down to see what would happen to the granite itself. granite did not stay granite. It actually turned into rhyolite, which is another element. For those of you who don't know what rhyolite is, because I didn't know what rhyolite is, it's actually a brittle remnants of the rock, of granite rock. It has no value. It's brittle. It's useless. It's just absolute garbage. It is just trash at that point. There's no real use you can get out of rhyolite. And you can look it up yourself. You know, I mean, I don't even know what the element, what the atomic mass, the atomic, whatever those things are called. I don't know what those are. I don't even know if there's electrons, how many electrons are spinning around the atom itself or all that. I don't care because it doesn't matter. The fact is that if the Earth was in fact a molten rock, a molten thing of just magma, and then it cooled down, we would not have granite. That's just one element. That's just one off of, I don't know how many there are now, 100 and something elements, which, by the way, a good number of those are actually synthetic. Those aren't real elements. They're just man-made in a laboratory, and most of them, they can't even be sustained for more than 30 minutes before they lose all of their atomic mass and they're done. I believe there's like 96 real solid elements, that natural occurring elements, and then the ones after that point are just synthetically made inside of a laboratory using, adding electrons or removing, protons or whatever. And I'm not gonna get into that because that's stupid. I'm not gonna, I'm not a scientist. I'm not some lab expert that knows how to do that stuff. That's stupid, Just so that you know. So that's number 2. Now I'm going to number 3. Man, it's already 12 minutes. 12 minutes. My gosh, I feel like I'm failing at this, but it's all right. So now we're going to go to the Earth is spinning. It is spinning. It is a fact. It is a fact right now that this Earth is spinning, and that's the only way that things can continue to function. Is the Earth is spinning. It is indeed spinning, and we also know that the Earth is slowing down. Not very much, but it's still slowing down. I believe it's averages about half a second every year. So it's slowing just about a third to a half a second every year or so. And I mean, they even have a record of astronomers have a record of this, starting from the year 1973 when they first started observing the Earth's, the Earth's, like the time, how much time it takes to get through a day, through a week, through a month, through a year, etc. Because they want to get down to the T, which I understand that because I love science. I love the fact that they did that because now we have observable evidence of that. So from 1973 to about 1996, I haven't checked any new sources because they haven't posted any new sources, at least that I've found. I may be wrong. There might be some that are there present in some other locations and websites, but I don't know. I haven't seen that. But just for purposes, they measured it up until about 96 or so that I've seen. And so if we did the math right, that means that the Earth would have slowed down in those 23 years to be about 12.5 seconds, which doesn't sound like a big deal. But to me, that's a huge deal because that's like a fourth of a minute. That is a fourth of a minute added to the Earth's spin. Like it's that much more time than it takes for the Earth to spin. 1/4 of a minute. You gotta understand, 15 seconds is 1/4 of a minute. It's 15, 30, 30, 60. So yeah, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So I did the math here. Now if you can see it, and I want you to see it here. Let's see, I'm sorry. I want to do this. I don't know if I can do this looking this way. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, I'll let you look at it for a second because I'm gonna tell you how I came up to this number and everything. But I just want you to see it just so that you can kind of do the math here, and I'll give you like you can pause the video and then you can kind of like look at it and then kind of analyze it in your own right, and so you have the non-objective evidence. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain this. I'm sure you probably don't even need to explain it because you already did the math yourself when you pause the video. But 12.5 seconds. That's a big deal in 23 years. So if they say the Earth is 4.6 billion years old, well, all you do is you times 4.6 billion, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 zeros, and that's 6, 4, 6, times 0.5 seconds. You come out to just under 2 billion 300 million seconds or so, or 2.3 billion seconds. notation, which is 2.3 to the e to the power of 10 9 to 9 or whatever. But that's irrelevant and stupid. And it makes sense because half a second, 0.5 is you're just halving it, so it makes sense. 2.3 billion seconds. Well, if you want to convert it, which that's the conversion chart that I put there, divide that by 60 seconds to be equals a minute. You have 38 million with an M million minutes. I'm sorry, 38.333.333 million minutes. Divide that again by 60 equals an hour. You have 638,888 hours. Divide that by hours, being 24, and you now have 26,620 days. Divide that a step further by 365 days in a year, and you now have 72.932 years added on to the average time in a year. I want you to like now take that number that we come to, the additional seconds. What was seconds every year added to a day? We're adding 72.932 years to a day that the Earth had to be a day. Or I'm sorry, take it away. Oh wow, I'm sorry. You know what? It doesn't matter because plus or minus same. We came to the same conclusion. Whether it's negative or positive, it does not matter. The numbers are true. So they're saying we're supposed to take away. We're supposed to take away 72 point. That actually makes it even more of a harder thing to argue with. Thank you, Dad. Hey, this even makes it easier for me. So they're expecting us to take away 72,932. Oh no, I'm sorry. Point, period, comma. I'm sorry. They're expecting us to take 72.932 years. So 72 years plus pretty much 73 years. They want us to take 73 years away from the time of a 24-hour period. Let me ask you this. If you have a bank account with $50, can you pull out 50,000? No? Right? Because you only got 50. The bank's going to look at you and say, well, son, you can't take out 50,000. You've only got $50. I mean, you can add some money to it, but you can't take out 50,000 because you've only got $50. That's same logic right here. You cannot take away what is not there. You can't take it away. If it wasn't there to begin with, you can't take it away. That's simple sense. That's simple common sense. I don't know why I said that one, but yeah, it's simple common sense. You cannot take away what is not there. In a 24-hour period, and we know this to be true, that the Earth is is slowing down in its spin, therefore making the days longer. So, that means that if we're backtracking, if we're going from now until before, which was the, like the before, like years past, we have to take away time. We have to take away a half a second for every year. So by that logic, we would come to zero. Or, well, I can't say that because I don't have the numbers right here. But just assuming, just putting a range to it, or if you want to contest this, you can. But by that logic, even just a few 100,000 years would have been that's like the end of that. There's no spin. There would be no spin at that point because you've effectively taken away all of the seconds that are present in a day. At that point, it's just zero. There's just nothingness, which sounds retarded, right? It just sounds absolutely ridiculous. And I did it again. I'm so sorry, Tinas. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. I didn't mean to use that word. I did, but I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's ridiculous. It is absolutely asinine, right? It's ridiculous. But, yeah, that was my point. I just wanted to talk a little bit about evolution versus creation, and then you just use real-world applications to, argue for or against, and you're a smart individual. You're a smart adult. You know what is true when you see it. When someone shows you a chicken, if it quacks like, I'm sorry, if it lays eggs like a chicken, if it's got legs like a chicken, if it barks like a chicken, then it's a chicken. Same thing with the duck. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's a duck. You can't put something in front of somebody and dress up a dog to be a duck because the duck doesn't go woof woof. It goes whack. You can't lie to people this way. And for history books to put in there these lies that they can't even back up themselves, being like, because 4.6 billion years is a very specific number to give to somebody who, when you in fact don't know yourself. Like, that's like me saying, oh, 10,000 years ago, my great 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 grandfather was royalty. Yeah, it happened. I don't have evidence for it, but it happened. Yeah, they ruled over this country, they did this, and they had that, and I'm a royal. And that's a blatant lie because I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't have evidence. I don't have empirical evidence to show that. I mean, I could argue and say I have historical evidence, and then I could show maybe like some falsified documents, or just some documents in general, just whatever. I could show you something and be like, well, I don't exactly have real evidence, but I do have this, and then I'd show you a piece of paper that has like a line graph or something that maybe I probably drew myself, or somebody else who I probably paid to draw that for me myself, and then from there I could say, now this is true. And for evolutionists to lie to your kids and teach them falsified religion. Because I hear a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry to keep ranting going on ranting. I promise on 3 things, but I wanted to include just one more. So please bear with me here and just hear me out. They're trying to associate variation with evolution. They're trying to microevolution with macroevolution. There's a very distinct difference, and honestly, I hate the fact that they're using evolution in both sequences because that's wrong. Macroevolution is their idea of evolution. Both that they believe is to be evolution. Microevolution, which I believe is just variations between the species or the same kind, is very real, and it does happen all the time. Just like a wolf can, over maybe 500 years, produce different types of dogs because it's from the same family. A dog, the cat, a lion. It can produce different kinds of cats because it's from the same kind. A freaking cat. Same thing that a dolphin is not going to produce a dog or a human because it's a freaking whale. It's a fish. It's from the sea. It produces its own freaking kind. How do you not get that? Evolutionists, and they're going to argue with me on this. They're going to say, no, we don't believe that, but they do because it says in their books. Millions of years ago, billions of years ago, when the Earth was just a void and everything, it started to rain on the rocks, and from the rain on the rocks, the primordial soup came about, and with the primordial soup came animals and plants, and so you can argue with them and say, so let me get this straight. I believe that our Creator created everything not too long ago, but I'm crazy, and I'm insane for believing that. But then you're trying to tell me that you believe that all life on this earth came about from rain, methane and ammonium rain, not even with oxygen, which is completely retarded, but I did it again. I'm so sorry, teams. Which is completely stupid to believe that ammonia and methane and sulfuric acid and stuff rained on the rocks for millions of years, and that produced a primordial soup in some way that the amino acids came about somehow the amino acids kind of pulled together, and then over millions of years slowly bacterium and stuff started to flow out of that primordial soup, and then eventually plants and vegetation started to grow about, and then somehow these vegetations were able to produce animals. The animal kingdom was able to be produced from that. So you're telling me that this primordial soup produced algae, then produced plants, produced a banana, and then those same trees that produced bananas and stuff now produced animals in some way, and then those animals produced different kinds of those different kinds. And that, do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? No, I keep doing it. I'm sorry, teens. I keep doing it. I'm sorry. It gets under my skin. You have to understand, teens. I'm sorry, but. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely stupid. That's like nowhere in the history of